Hola, buenos dias. Welcome to lecture 2 of the Ultimate Success Formula. Now, in lecture 1, we developed the two main rhythms for feminine singular and masculine singular. I taught you how to learn nouns and how to have a positive singular dialogue. Remember, the food is a girl. And when you describe the food, it was La comida es fantástica. When you describe the wine, it was El vino es fantástico. This rhythm is critical. Think of it as nutrients that lubricate and enable your neurological pathways to have the capacity to allow the information to flow with speed, especially when we start climbing forward. Remember, I will always reiterate, the wider your base of fundamentals, the more new ideas will benefit you, as you will keep on having access to that accumulated information that you've laid down before. Now, for those of you that have received your manual, remember, when you open your manual, initially, there are a few letters, you keep turning, then you have your contents page, which is comprised of your guiding light, A to F, and then layer 1, layer 2, layer 3. I call my chapters layers. Now the guiding light A to F. So here is A, and if you turn, you'll see B, C, D, E, and F. We will be using the guiding light throughout the duration of our course. With all the information that we're learning, I put everything in alignment for you. However, if you go after the guiding light A, B, C, D, E, F, which you can, for now, we don't have to worry about that now. When I do use that, you will know about it. You go straight to page 1 after A, B, C, D, E, F, and page 1 is the beginning of layer 1. And as in our previous lecture, we did our basic conversation at the top, breaking the ice. Hello, good morning, how are you, fine and you, pleased to meet you, etc. And we learned our utterances at the top, so, tell me, look, etc. And remember, you can combine the utterances as well, and you can use them in front of ¿qué tal? Or you can use them in front of what is your name? Remember, you learn them in isolation, tell me, listen, look, well, so, and then you can combine them. So tell me, listen, tell me, well, tell me, in front of ¿qué tal? Or what is your name? Then we prepared to do the positive singular dialogue. And that was the preparation. And then we just said goodbye, adios. Now, for those of you that downloaded only the 4 pages from the website, there they are. Now you'll see that that page 1 that you downloaded is page 1 of chapter 1 in the manual. So there it is. But hopefully by now, you have downloaded your full manual, and remember, only in color, because the color that I put in the manual is vital. So now we are going to go to the next section. Now, after the singular positive dialogue, we've done that, we're going to do this section at the moment. Now, at the bottom of the page, it says there, every time a word ends in AR, ER, or IR, it means to anything. What do I mean by that? Every time you see a word that ends in AR, ER, IR, it means to something. That's called a verb, an action. Now, anytime that you see a word that ends in R, listen to the sound, R, ear, it's to something. It's a verb, to speak, to eat, to travel, to dance. It doesn't matter. So initially in our first lecture, we learned the rhythm of a feminine singular noun, la, da, 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 a masculine singular noun, el vino es fantástico, fabuloso. Those 2 rhythms now, we have embedded it into our system. Now, these sounds of a verb is just as vitally important. This is the genesis of you becoming a prodigious Spanish speaker. Any word that you say or hear or read that ends in AR, ER, IR is a verb. So when you say a word that ends in these three specific sounds, R, AR, air, ER, or ear, it's to something. It's one word in Spanish and two words in English. That's the key. Let's continue. So what is a verb? Well, a verb is to something, anything. A doing word, an action word. So look what I've done. I've started with the verb estar in green. Now, estar means to be. Now, in your jotter or your notebook, right there, today's date, estar equals to be. One word in Spanish, two words in English. If I give you a Spanish newspaper now and you circle any word that ends in AR, it's to something. If you see the word organizar, what does that mean in English? To organize. Depositar, to deposit. What is adaptar? To adapt. What does expresar? To express. Importar, to import. Exportar, to export. Photocopiar, to photocopy. As I've always said, I've got more stories than the Old Testament when I see people, and a lot of them have tried to do Spanish for a long time. And I say to them, what does estar mean? Give me a sentence with estar. They look at me with their eyes on the proverbial saucer. They didn't know that estar means to be. We need to know where things come from. We need to sow the roots of things into the soil. And then we give the soil nutrition by daily disciplined accountability so that we can harvest results. Estar means to be, but in your jotter right there, this verb evokes a situation of location. It's location. I like to be here. I like to be on the beach. I like to be in the city. I like to be with you. It's location. And right there, it's temporary. So it's going to be for location and also a temporary feeling when we keep moving forward. But for today, location. So how am I going to get you to know that estar means to be? Well, I am a proponent of using the information that we've downloaded previously to help us in our new undertaking. So because we had learned the positive singular dialogue in our initial lecture, remember, tell me, do you like a lot of food in Madrid? Yes or no? Yes, naturally, I like a lot of food in Madrid. So why do you like a lot of food in Madrid? Look, I like a lot of food in Madrid because for me, the food is fantastic. In my opinion, the food is fabulous. I think that the food is delicious. I believe that the food is cheap. We can do that now, and we can change the food to at least 20 nouns, and we develop ammunition. We know how our utterances work. We've learned porque means why and because. We've learned an adverb naturally that we can change to any of these words, and we know our 4 icebreakers that can be put over there. And remember, with your 4 icebreakers, the yo of your pienso and your creo is up to you to say, because I explained to you that the o on pienso and the o on creo signify to that other person that you're doing the action with my explanation of lecture 1. So let's repeat all this now, because we know all this information. That's the advantage of knowing good foundational skills. Let's repeat all the information. We know it, but all we do now is we take the food out and we put the verb estar in. That's all. So this whole thing will stay consistent. So instead of saying, tell me, do you like a lot of food? Look at the bottom. Tell me, do you like a lot to be here? And I even put the English equivalent that side, and you can highlight estar is to be on that side. Now, this is the PDF notes from the download. In your manual, I've done it for you. I've done the English equivalent. I've highlighted the English equivalent to be on that side and estar to be on this side. So it's done for you. If you're still working with the PDF notes from the website, then you must highlight estar in green where it says there to be. So now say, tell me, do you like a lot to be here? Because at the end of the day, I'm teaching you how to study with a methodology. Tell me, do you like a lot to be here? So let's go together. 1, 2, 3. Well, what a pleasure. You already know, tell me. You already know well. You know your yellow utterances already. Remember, we used them there, and now we're taking them there, using information that we downloaded previously. Let's go together. Pedro says, tell me, do you like a lot to be here? Dime, te gusta mucho estar aquí. Then you must say the English equivalent afterwards. Then Maria responds, yes, obviously, I like a lot to be here. Sí, obviamente, me gusta mucho estar aquí. Notice we're throwing the verb estar back and forth. Then Pedro says, listen, why'd you like a lot to be here? Oye, ¿por qué te gusta mucho estar aquí? Then Maria responds, well, I like a lot to be here, pues me gusta mucho estar aquí, because, porque, now she can use her 4 depth charges that we learned in lecture 1 with our nouns. I'm sure now you're getting a little bit tingly, because I still get tingly when I do this, you know, I feel so good about it. Well, she says, I like a lot to be here, pues me gusta mucho estar aquí, because, porque, for me the food is fabulous. Para mí la comida es fabulosa. In my opinion, the music is incredible. En mi opinión, la música es increíble. I think that the fruit is cheap. Yo pienso que la fruta es barata. And I believe that the wine is tasty. Yo creo que el vino es rico. What a pleasure. You can use your 4 depth charges and the nouns that we had studied previously. What a marvelous collaboration. Doesn't it interweave nicely? So now we're learning our first verb. I like to be here because, and then you use your 4 depth charges and you can use any noun that you had studied. You could have said, because the nightlife is fun. Porque la vida nocturna es divertida. The work is amazing. El trabajo es estupendo. The weather is good. El tiempo es bueno. The meat is excellent. La carne es excelente. The people are friendly. La gente es amigable. Because you know how to do that already from lecture 1. Now, why do you think you are doing estar back and forth 4 times? Do you like to be here? Yes, I like to be here. Why do you like to be here? I like to be here because. And maybe some of you have got a temperamental proclivity to teach. Then you can teach this to somebody in your family or a friend. A lot of the students that come to me are learning Spanish because they want to teach English. They do the TEFL course, and then they want to teach English in a South American country. So it's very advantageous to understand how the Spanish brain works and how to speak in Spanish before you go teach English in a Spanish country, because it just makes the process much easier. You become a very prolific teacher, because if the students have a problem, they can ask you in Spanish what the problem is. It's very difficult to teach somebody a language when you can't speak to them in their home language. It's very tough. Try to teach somebody English, but that person that you're teaching can't speak to you because they can't speak English. So at least you can have the proactiveness to learn their language. That's why the students that come to me, a lot of them are learning Spanish because they want to go teach English in South America and Spain. And if they can speak Spanish really well, firstly, they understand the mindset of a Spanish person. But when a person has a question, that person can ask the question to the teacher in their language, which is Spanish, because they don't speak English. So that will be amazing. Obviously, as I said, teaching somebody, even if it's your family member or your partner, or you're going to teach overseas, just remember that teaching is an amazing vocation to have. It just gets your body to produce all those good neurotransmitters like serotonin, dopamine, oxytocin that I talked about. Because when you help somebody maximize their quality of their life, you feel better as a teacher. And by you feeling better, that's pivotal, because then you attract things into your life that make you feel better, because you don't attract in your life what you want, you attract what you are. So you need to emanate that. Now, if you take the verb estar and we go back and forth like I've done, you are going to know that estar means to be. Now, there are many reasons why I do that. Firstly, when you keep climbing up with the methodology that I want to give you, when you say things like, I want to be, I need to be, I hope to be, I plan to be, I prefer to be, I'm going to be. For me, it's important to be. To be will never change. If you say to be, it'll be estar. Don't worry that you don't know the information I'm going to show you now. I do that during the whole duration of my cycle. So when you say I want to be, it's going to be yo quiero estar. I need to be. Yo necesito estar. I hope to be in Mexico. Yo espero estar en Mexico. I plan to be in Mexico. Yo planeo estar en Mexico. I'm going to be in Mexico. Yo voy a estar en Mexico. I prefer to be here. Yo prefiero estar aquí. I hate to be here. Yo odio estar aquí. I can go on and on and on over 1,000 times where estar will be consistent. That's incredible. And even when you say, do you want to be? Are you able to be? Do you need to be? We need to be. We are able to be. They are going to be. If you say to be, it's estar. That's one of my main objectives, why I do this at the beginning. The other main objective, in the big picture, when you get to the stage with me where we conjugate to be, because you can't go I be, you be, he be, she be, like I speak, you speak, he speaks, because it's the verb to be, you're going to have to go I am, you are, he is. You see, now if you know your verb estar in its infinitive state, when you go I am, estoy, and you are, estás, and he is, está, and we are, estamos, and they are, están, you will be automatic with this because you would have learned your verb in its entirety. So when you throw away the AR and you put these endings on, you will know your root of EST beforehand, and that's critical. Also, there's a filtration effect like osmosis. If to be is estar, listen to that sound, are, if to be is estar, you are is estás, está, estamos, están. That R sound, that R becomes down. And if we spoke English like Spanish, English would sound like, I am hoy, you are us, he is a, she is a, we are amos here, they are an in Mexico, I am hoy on the beach, you are us in your house, etc. But now don't let this bother you, because I only do this in 6 or 7 weeks' time. And when I do that, this will be all automatic and you'll understand it 100%. I'm just explaining to you why you don't want to start the academic way, which is destructive, counterproductive, self-sabotaging, self-defeating, and leads to your capitulation and demise. We don't want to start with estoy, estás, estamos, están. Now, no way. In the big picture, we'll do it, and then this will be automatic, and I'll save you years and years of study. But now we need to know that estar means to be. So when we do this dialogue at the bottom, and we threw estar back and forth, that's amazing. And look at the answer when you said, why'd you like to be here? He said, Maria said, I like to be here because, and she used her 4 debt charges. For me, the life, in my opinion, whatever, I believe that. That's what you must do now. But please write this out in your book for me. How to learn a verb. Over 40 sentences. Write that out for me. So you made a heading, how to learn a verb, and then in brackets, over 40 sentences. Now this is what your page should look like. Write your 4 depth charges on your page. I think that, yo pienso que, I believe that, yo creo que, for me, para mí, and in my opinion, en mi opinión, and put it in a block. Then write next to that block, no es muy, and put the no in brackets, and put the muy in brackets. And then at the top, put some of your adjectives, the adjectives that you've learned from the first lecture. Remember when we described the wine, you learned to say fantastico, fabuloso, etc. Those adjectives there, and the neutral adjectives on this side. That's what I mean. So in your book, you wrote there how to learn a verb, and then in a black block, or any block you want, any color, you write your 4 depth charges on the side there. Plus, put the plus, then the no in brackets, es, and the muy in brackets. Now, no is the negative for when you say it's not, And muy means very. Just write very above muy. Remember when I said in lecture 1, how are you, ¿qué tal? And you went very good, muy bien. Then just put some adjectives down. So let's write some adjectives down. So write down there, fantastic, fantastico, fabulous, fabuloso, divine, divino, marvelous, maravilloso, good, bueno, cheap, barato, do, excellent, excelente, interesting, interesante, incredible, increíble, fun, divertido, remember you learned that, D-I-V-E-R-T-I-D-O. So you've got at least 10. And if you haven't got 10, you can add on cheap, barato, amazing, estupendo, any of the adjectives we had learned from page 4 of describing the one. Just 10, start with 10. Then once you've got your 10 adjectives down there, put there plus verb. And an example right there at the top, estar, E-S-T-A-R. So now what you can do is, when you said, I like to be here because, and you responded because the food and that's amazing, that answer here. She said, do you like to be here? Yes, I like to be here. Why do you like to be here? I like to be here because I think that the music is good. I believe that the people are friendly. In my opinion, the wine is cheap, using your 4 depth charges. But now, as an alternative answer, I would like you to know this answer. So if you start at the top and you go, tell me, do you like a lot to be here? Yes, obviously I like a lot to be here. Why do you like to be here? Now write this answer as an option. I'll dictate, write it out. I like to be here. Me gusta estar aquí, or I like a lot to be here. Me gusta mucho estar aquí. Don't forget, mucho means a lot. And mucho must never change after me gusta. Remember, it's never me gusta mucha, or muchas, or muchos. Because as I said, English people are in a constant state of discombobulation when to use mucho, mucha, muchos, and muchos. But in this undertaking, we're learning that mucho never changes after me gusta. Even if you say, I like a lot, the food, the wine, the people, it's always mucho. And when you say to your partner, do you like a lot anything? It's te gusta mucho, la, el, it doesn't matter. Also with a verb, I like a lot to do something, it's me gusta mucho. Never ever mucha, muchas, or muchos. So write out this answer. I like a lot to be here. Me gusta mucho estar aquí. Because, ¿por qué? Then you use this page, how to learn a verb. You go, I think that it is fantastic to be here. Yo pienso que es fantástico estar aquí. Don't do the negative now, the no. Don't do that negative now. If you say very fantastic, you can put the muy fantástico, that works. Then you do a second sentence. Write it out. I like a lot to be here because me gusta mucho estar aquí porque. Then you use your second depth charger. Yo creo que es fabuloso estar aquí. Write it out. Yo creo que es fabuloso estar aquí. That means I like a lot to be here because I believe that it's fabulous to be here. Your first sentence was, I like a lot to be here because I think that it's fantastic to be here. Now the third sentence, you must write it out. Remember, when you write things out, it burns it deeper into your subconsciousness. Writing is muy importante. It's very important. It slows things down. Third sentence, I like a lot to be here. Write it out. Me gusta mucho estar aquí because, porque, for me, para mí. And then you can choose an adjective. Para mí es fun. I'll choose fun. Divertido estar aquí. I like a lot to be here because for me it's fun to be here. Me gusta mucho estar aquí porque para mí es muy divertido estar aquí. I like a lot to be here because for me it's very fun to be here. You can put the muy in very when you want to. Now the fourth sentence. Remember, anytime I'm going too quick, just pause the video. When you're ready, press play and we keep on going. The fourth sentence. I like a lot to be here. Me gusta mucho estar aquí. Because in my opinion, porque en mi opinión, it's important to be here. Es importante estar aquí. and you write it out. So that's 4 examples. Now, the thing is that if you know 10 adjectives, that's 40 sentences, man. And you are going to be learning more adjectives, I'm telling you. Listen, 10 adjectives times 4 depth charges is 40 sentences. Listen, I was never good at maths. Even at school, I failed standard grade maths. I mean, if I had a bit of humor, if I had $5 for every time the teacher would call me stupid, I'd probably have about $38. No, I'm just joking. What makes it worse, I was homeschooled. Now, listen, bit of humor, bit of serotonin. But that's 40 sentences. Now, if you know more adjectives, say, for example, you know 20 adjectives, well, that's 80 sentences. I mean, that's incredible. If you want to know another great adjective that you can use, just put there, because you know so many, just put there necessary on your list, just so you can extend your list a bit. Okay, I'll spell it for you. Just put necessary. N-E-C-E-S-A-R-I-O, necessary. So you can go, I think it's, I like to be here. Me gusta mucho estar aquí, because for me it's necessary to be here. Porque para mí es necesario estar aquí. Please make this note. When I describe a verb with an adjective, the adjectives must always be masculine, ending on an O, or neutral, ending on an E, because verbs don't have gender. So don't go, I think it's fantastic, fantastica, or I think that it's fabulous, fabulosa. When you're describing a verb with an adjective, the adjectives must always be masculine or neutral, ending on an E. Please write that out and color code what you've written out in a big color, so it stands out. So when we go back to the dialogue, we did the first verb, estar, and I did that as an example for you. But obviously, when I gave the answer, the answer in the book was, I like to be here because I think that the life is, I believe that the people are, which is amazing to do. But I want you to know this method that I've just shown you. I like to be here because I think that it's fantastic to be here. I like to be here because I believe that it's fabulous to be here. I like a lot to be here because for me it's fun to be here. I like a lot to be here because, in my opinion, it's necessary to be here. So just have a look at this again. This is what it must look like. I put over 100 ways because I've got 25 adjectives, but I'm happy if you just got 10 adjectives for now, and it's 40 sentences. So your depth charges must be in a block, plus S-E-S, then your adjectives, then plus a verb. And at the top of this arrow, you must put estar as your first example. Later on, we'll do the negative. It's not important. And the more we can use right now, it's fine. But let's leave the no just for a few weeks. We'll do the negative a little bit later. Just stick to the positive. I think that it's fantastic to be here. I believe that it's fabulous to be here. In my opinion, it's fun to be here, etc. And I've explained to you why I'm teaching you a style with that chart. Now let's do the second verb. Hablar, to speak. Remember, one word in Spanish equals 2 words in English. Hablar means to speak. So many people come to me after I've ascertained what they can do wherever they've been studying in their lives, and the majority of them thought that hablar means speak. Well, that is erroneous. And that's why they have had such perpetual problems trying to become a prolific Spanish speaker, because they never had a foundation that was solid with the right information. You see, you can't build a structure if there's holes in your foundation. One step at a time. The elevator to the top is out of order. Now, hablar means to speak. Remember, the H is silent. So what do? We just throw away the estar and we replace the estar with hablar. So put hablar there 1, 2, 3, 4 times. So let's go together. Let's do the dialogue with to speak. So Pedro says, tell me, do you like a lot to speak Spanish? Remember, I put the word Spanish over here, just some extra vocabulary. Pedro says, Tell me, do you like a lot to speak Spanish? Dime, ¿te gusta mucho hablar español? Maria says, yes, obviously I like a lot to speak Spanish. Sí, obviamente, me gusta mucho hablar español. Then Pedro says, listen, why do you like a lot to speak Spanish? Oye, ¿por qué te gusta mucho hablar español? Maria answers, and please write down this answer, how to learn a verb. Well, pues, I like a lot to speak Spanish because I think that it's fantastic to speak Spanish. Write that out in your workbook. I like a lot to speak Spanish. Me gusta mucho hablar español because, porque, I think that it's fantastic to speak Spanish. Yo pienso que es fantástico hablar español. So put hablar above a star on that arrow. Or I like a lot to speak Spanish. Me gusta mucho hablar español because I believe that. Porque yo creo que es muy fabuloso hablar español. Or I like a lot to speak Spanish. Me gusta mucho hablar español because for me, porque para mí, it's marvelous to speak Spanish. Es maravilloso hablar español. Then the fourth one, I like a lot to speak Spanish. Me gusta mucho hablar español because in my opinion, porque en mi opinión, it's fun. Es divertido to speak Spanish. Hablar español. And write that out. That was part of the page, how to learn a verb, because you've got a minimum of 40 answers there using this methodology. Now, why did you want to throw to speak back and forth and back and forth? As the same case as with a star, you're learning that hablar means to speak. So when you keep climbing with a logical progression of intelligence, it will never change if you say to speak in your English mind. I want to speak. Yo quiero hablar. I need to speak. Yo necesito hablar. I plan to speak. Yo pienso hablar. I must speak. Yo debo hablar. I have to speak. Yo tengo que hablar. I have desire to speak. Yo tengo ganas de hablar. I know how to speak. Yo sé hablar. Remember that I teach you in the whole course. I've got a proper way of teaching. All that stuff comes into alignment when it's the right time. But for today, we just want to know why we are learning it. And I'm showing you why. So you just be concerned with how we're doing it now. You throw the verb back and forth to speak. Tell me, do you like to speak? Yes, naturally, I like to speak. Listen, why do you like to speak? Well, I like to speak because, and then you use your page. I like a lot. You want to say me gusta mucho, that's fine. Me gusta mucho hablar español because, porque, and you practice it. I think that it's fantastic to speak. I believe that it's fabulous to speak. For me, it's necessary to speak. And in my opinion, it's marvelous to speak. Remember, don't worry if you don't know all my adjectives. You've got enough adjectives to get you going for now. And you also added on necesario, remember? Cool. Why do you want to know hablar? Because of the reasons I just told you. It will never change when you say to speak, over 1,000 ways, not just with me. When you speak to somebody or he, we, they, it's all the same. They are able to speak. We are going to speak. They need to speak. It's to speak. Everything will come into alignment like it's your own personal jigsaw puzzle. Let me tell you. I tell you unequivocally, without any hesitation or fear of error, this is the incontrovertible truth. Take it easy. Also, in the big picture, if you know that hablar is to speak as an infinitive, and it's not going to change with all those ways I've showed you, when you get to the stage with me to go conjugations, I speak, you speak, he speaks, then you're going to go, I speak, hablo, you speak, hablas, he and she, habla, we, hablamos, they speak, hablan. You need to know the root of HABL. So know your verb first, because the HABL needs to be studied prior before this undertaking. You need your roots. Remember, if you don't sow the roots into the soil, you can't harvest an abundance of results. Take it easy, one step at a time. And there's a filtration effect when you get to this layer of conjugating, which should only be in 2 months' time, more or less. But we're not rushing success. But the reason why we're doing this and why you understand why we're doing this is because if to speak is Hablar, I speak will be hablo with the O, just like you've learned, I think is pienso, and I believe is creo. Remember, you have the O normally, but with estar, it was estoy, that's irregular. There are a few irregularities, no big deal, but I speak is regular, so it'll be hablo, but look at the filtration effect. If to speak is hablar, that R sound will filtrate like osmosis. Hablar, you speak will be hablas, and remember, there's no do or does in Spanish, so when you say to someone, do you speak Spanish or do you speak English? We'll go, hablas inglés, hablas español, and he speaks will be hablar, because the verb is hablar becomes hablas, hablar, hablamos, hablan. That sound, ar, as, amos, an. And if we spoke English like a Spanish person speaks Spanish, English would sound like this. I speak o, you speak us. He speaks a, she speaks a, we speak amos, they speak an. Imagine we spoke English like that. That should give you like a bit of a mindset of how the Spanish works, you know. But remember, don't let this intimidate you. We are not learning this now. When we do get to learn that, you'll be totally receptive to the information and it will happen automatically. So I'm just explaining to you again why I'm doing what I'm doing. So we're only concerned about hablar. Remember, exactly the same with estar, which I showed you just now. Estar, are, that becomes you are. Estás, está, estamos, están. You speak. Hablas, habla, hablamos, hablan. It's always going to be the same for AR verbs. So well done. We've done hablar. I've taught you how to do it. And you do it. Daily disciplined accountability. When you're disciplined to do the things you need to do, when you need to do them, the day will come when you can do the things you want to do, when you want to do them. So we do hablar. And I've showed you what to do, especially with the answer. Because with the verb estar, it made sense to say, I like a lot to be at because I think that the life, the music, which is cool as an option. But with to speak, I would prefer you to learn the methodology here with the answer of what you wrote down in your book, how to learn a verb, the answer to that question in the dialogue. You must know that. I like a lot to be at because I think it's fantastic. Sorry, I like a lot to speak Spanish because I think that it's important to speak Spanish. I like a lot to speak Spanish because I believe that it's fantastic to speak Spanish. I like a lot to speak Spanish because for me, it's fun to speak Spanish. I like a lot to speak Spanish, and then come down here with your answer. In my opinion, en mi opinion, it's necessary to speak Spanish. If you know 10 adjectives and you know 4 depth charges, 40 sentences, train. Now we do this concept, exactly what we've been doing with the rest of the verbs that are going to be at the bottom of page 1. The information we learned in lecture 1 just ties in wonderfully with what we're doing today. Now, the next verb on your list is to work. Trabajar. Trabajar means to work. 1 word in Spanish, 2 words in English. Trabajar. Remember, the J is a little bit rough. Trabajar. Trabajar, remember, if you have a problem with the rough sound, you can make an H sound. It's not the end of the world. Trabajar. To work. How are we going to know that trabajar means to work? Well, what you do is you put trabajar, you substitute estar, as we did with hablar, with trabajar. And let's go back and forth, back and forth. Repetition is truly the mother of all learning, which makes it undoubtedly the father of action and unequivocally the architect of accomplishment. The most powerful tool you have in your chest is repetition. It's omnipotent, powerful. Let's go together. We ready? 1, 2, 3. Dime, ¿te gusta mucho trabajar aquí? Tell me, do you like a lot to work here? Answer. Sí, absolutamente. Me gusta mucho trabajar aquí. Listen, why do you like a lot to work here? Oye, ¿por qué te gusta mucho trabajar aquí? Answer, well, I like a lot to work here. Pues me gusta mucho trabajar aquí because, porque, now you do that new concept, how to learn a verb. I like a lot to work here. Me gusta mucho trabajar aquí because, porque, you go. Yo pienso que es fantástico trabajar aquí. I think that it's fantastic to work here. Yo creo que es fabuloso trabajar aquí. I believe that it's fabulous to work here. Para mí es maravilloso trabajar aquí. For me, it's marvelous to work here. En mi opinión, es excelente trabajar aquí. In my opinion, it's excellent to work here. And you write that out. So we've thrown trabajar back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Trabajar means to work. Obviously, it would have been also pertinent to say things like, I like to work here, me gusta trabajar aquí because, porque, and you could have used your depth charges with a noun. I like a lot to work here, me gusta mucho trabajar aquí because, porque, I think that, yo pienso que, the work is good. El trabajo es bueno. In my opinion, the people are friendly. En mi opinión, la gente es amigable. I believe that the money is good. En mi opinión, el dinero es bueno. Because you know how to do that from lecture 1. So you could have done that because it was logical to say that type of thing. However, I also want you to know the new concept of, I like a lot to work here because I think that it's fantastic to work here. I like a lot to work here because I believe that it's necessary to work here. I like a lot to work here because for me, it's marvelous to work here. I like a lot to work here because in my opinion, it's necessary to work here. Please know that concept as well. And then you must write trabajar at the top where you wrote estar and hablar, and now you got trabajar. Remember, if you know 10 adjectives times 4, depth charges, 40 sentences. It's really one of my favorite mechanisms to learn from the level where we're on. And what's amazing, as I've mentioned in the first lecture, but I'll do it again, the reason why I start with I like is me gusta, because when I did a biopsy of both languages and I said, this is how they should have taught me, I like will be consistent when you go down, because I like is me gusta, and you know that you like is te gusta, but when you go he and she likes, it's going to be gusta, and we like is going to be gusta, and they like is going to be gusta. You see, you're going to hang this up in a mental art gallery in the imminent future with me, and it's going to be amazing. You're always going to feel good. You're going to be enthusiastic always, and you've got belief that you can become a prodigious Spanish speaker. That's why I teach this method, so I can start developing your belief and you start looking at your self-image as a winner, because then the behavior that you're going to bring across will be that of a winner, which is going to be optimism, hard work ethic, because you're going to be seeing the results. So you've got potential, and the more potential you see, the more determined you are with a good work ethic, which will bring results because of the work, which is going to reinforce your belief. And then it's a cycle. Remember, as a person thinks, so is he. If you think you can or you think you can't, you are right. And remember, you need to always feel the satisfaction of the things clicking into place with alignment. You know, that's where all the juice and deliciousness is, as I've mentioned before. And when you've got this accomplishment will give you the mental capacity to have clarity and focus to give birth to new accomplishments, because each accomplishment is going to help the next accomplishment. And then it's just a process. And remember, the failed attempts are just as important in the success process as the attempt that finally succeeds. So we've done trabajar. So the next verb is to dance. Bailar, B-A-I-L-A-R. Think of in English when you say, you know, bye-bye, you go bye, see you, bye. That will help you to enunciate. Bailar, to dance. So what do? We use the dialogue. Now remember, you can change these yellow utterances to any of the utterances you want, or you could even combine them. So tell me, listen, tell me, well, tell me, or you can isolate them. It's no problem. And you can change your adverb over here to any of these adverbs that you want. Remember, you've got lots of ammunition. So let's go together using the verb to dance. Bailar, and I put there the salsa, la salsa. Let's go together. Vamos, let's go. Tell me, do you like a lot to dance the salsa? Dime, ¿te gusta mucho bailar la salsa? We're just putting bailar instead of estar 4 times. To dance, 1 word in Spanish, 2 words in English, eh? Bailar. Let's go again. 1, 2, 3. Dime, ¿te gusta mucho bailar la salsa? Answer, sí, Personalmente, I'm using personally, me gusta mucho bailar la salsa. Listen, why do you like a lot to dance? Oye, ¿por qué te gusta mucho bailar la salsa? Your answer, I like a lot to dance the salsa. Me gusta mucho bailar la salsa. Because, ¿por qué? Yo pienso que es fantástico bailar la salsa. Yo creo que es fabuloso bailar la salsa. Para mí es divino bailar la salsa. En mi opinión es maravilloso bailar la salsa. Any adjective, no problem. And then obviously you could have also said, I like a lot to dance the salsa. Me gusta mucho bailar la salsa because, porque, with your depth charges, I think that the music is fantastic. Yo pienso que la música es fantástica. You can use your nouns if it's pertinent. I believe that the people are friendly here. Yo creo que la gente es amigable aquí. In my opinion, the song is good. En mi opinión, la canción es buena. Remember, the song was la canción at the bottom of your first noun page. Remember, it was an exception. La canción. Remember, any word that ends in sion is feminine. You'll see the song in your feminine noun page, the song, la canción. And I taught you how to learn a noun. Remember, if you said to me, well, I didn't know the song was La Canción, then you need to go to page 3 and you need to say, I like the song. Me gusta la canción, negative. No me gusta la canción, combination with but. Me gusta la canción en Madrid, pero no me gusta la canción en wherever. Then you describe the song. La canción es fantástica, la canción es fabulosa, la canción es buena, la canción es divertida, la canción es loca, la canción es interesante, times 15. Then you go here, I like the song because for me, me gusta la canción porque para mí la canción es fantástica, me gusta la canción porque en mi opinión la canción es loca, me gusta la canción porque yo pienso que la canción es increíble, me gusta la canción porque yo creo que la canción es adjective, interesante. And then you'll know the song. So you revert back to lecture 1 and learn the mechanisms of how to learn the song. So by throwing the verb to dance, bailar, back and forth, as we've done here, because we're doing bailar, the verb bailar, you'll know it's to dance. And if you say, I want to dance, I'm not able to dance, I'm going to dance, I prefer to dance, I hope to dance, I plan to dance, I have to dance, it's going to be to dance. Bailar. Learn your verb. Because when you get to the stage of conjugating, I dance, you dance, it's going to work like the others. If to dance is bailar, you're going to throw the AR away and go, I dance. Bailo, you dance. Bailas, he dances. Baila, we dance. Bailamos. You remember that song, We Dance, Bailamos, by Enrique Iglesias? Bailamos, we dance. They dance. And if we spoke English like Spanish, it'll be I dance or you don't dance us, he dances we dance amos, they dance an. That's how English would sound. But you're not concerned about that. You're only concerned about this current undertaking, how to learn to dance by the way I've taught you. Do you like to dance? Yes, I like to dance. Why do you like to dance? I like to dance because I think it's fantastic to dance, etc. Using your page where there's 40 sentences. I like to dance because I think that it's fantastic to dance. And write to dance there above your other verbs that we've learned. I like to dance because I believe that it's fun to dance. I like to dance because for me, it's very good to dance. I like to dance because in my opinion, it's very interesting to dance. So you can put the moi in. Remember, let's not do the no in this lecture. We'll do the no when we do a negative statement later on. You know what I mean? To dance. Now, what's the next verb after to dance? To sing, cantar. And I just put the word always, siempre, so you can learn some more vocabulary. Siempre, always. Remember, it's always good to increase our vocabulary. And as I said in the last lecture, your vocabulary will grow in tandem with your confidence, and their close proximity to each other will create a spark that you fan with daily disciplined accountability and enthusiasm, which will create a furnace of conversational generosity with inextinguishable flames. I tune you, man. So listen. To sing always. So cantar is to sing. So we put cantar instead of estar all the way down. Let's go together. Tell me, do you like a lot to sing here? Dime, te gusta mucho cantar aquí. If you want to say always, you can add it in. Yes, obviously, I like a lot to sing always. Sí, obviamente, me gusta mucho cantar siempre. Then you ask why? Oye, why? Isn't it amazingly powerful to learn why and because it's porque? Listen. Oye, why do you like a lot? ¿Por qué te gusta mucho to sing always? Cantar siempre. Now's your answer. Well, pues, I like a lot to sing always. Me gusta mucho cantar siempre because, porque, how to learn a verb. Yo pienso que es fantástico cantar siempre. Yo creo que es fabuloso cantar siempre. Para mí es bueno cantar siempre. En mi opinión, es interesante cantar siempre. No problem. Remember, over time, you are going to have 25 adjectives and you will have 100 ways. But for now, I'm happy with 40. To sing won't change. I want to sing, I need to sing, I'm not able to sing, I prefer to sing, I know how to sing, do you know how to sing? She knows how to sing, she can't sing, she wants to sing, to sing, to sing, to sing. Cantar, cantar, cantar. And in the future, when we conjugate to sing, it's going to be, you throw the AR away from cantar and you go, I sing. Canto, you sing. Cantas, he sings. Cantar, we sing. Cantamos, they sing. Cantan. No problem. This will be done in the future. Know where things come from. The next verb is to think, pensar. So what you do is you go for it. Tell me, do you like a lot to think a lot? Dime, te gusta mucho pensar, to think. Pensar, think of being pensive in English. Answer, yes, sí. Frankly, francamente, I'm just using one of your adverbs, you know, francamente, one of these adverbs. I like a lot to think. Me gusta mucho pensar. Oh, I like to think a lot. Me gusta pensar mucho. It's up to you. Listen, why do you like a lot to think? Oh, yeah. ¿Por qué te gusta mucho pensar? Answer, I like a lot to think. Me gusta mucho pensar because for me, it's important to think. Porque para mí es importante pensar. I think that yo pienso que es necesario pensar. En mi opinión, es excelente pensar. Put right pensar at the top here. It doesn't change. Using this to answer that question. I like a lot to think because, and then you choose, and you go. The next verb is to call here by phone. Llamar, llamar, to call. The double L is a y sound, and in some countries in South America, it's sh, shamar. Either llamar or shamar, whatever you want is cool. Tell me, do you like a lot to call here? Dime, te gusta mucho llamar. So put llamar down 4 times. Let's go together. Yes, obviously. Sí, obviamente me gusta mucho llamar aquí. Listen, why do you like a lot to call here? Oye, ¿por qué te gusta mucho llamar aquí? Now you answer. Well, pues, I like a lot to call here. Me gusta mucho llamar aquí because, ¿por qué? I think that it's cheap to call here. Yo pienso que es barato llamar aquí. Yo creo que es bueno llamar aquí. Para mí es divertido llamar aquí. En mi opinión, es increíble llamar aquí. And then you must write llamar over there with the other verbs that we just learned. Llamar. Again, it won't change in the future. I want to call, I need to call, I'm going to call, I prefer to call, I have to call, I desire to call, I must call, to call, to call, to call, llamar. And then in the future, if you know llamar is to call, when we throw away the AR from llamar, you'll be left with double LAM. And then you're going to go, I call, llamó, you call, llamas. And that's why a lot of people, instead of saying my name is Pedro, mi nombre es Pedro, in the textbooks, they start with I'm called, me llamo Pedro. And you are called, they say, instead of saying what is your name, cuál es tu nombre, they say, ¿cómo te llamas? I'm sure a few of you have got friends who speak Spanish and they'll say, but why didn't he teach you me llamo for my name? And why did he teach you mi nombre es? Because learning in the beginning, my name is, that's the way to go. You can't start with conjugations and throw the AR from llamar and go, I'm called, me llamo. You haven't even learned your root llamar. It's not the right time. You must know your infinitive llamar so that when you throw the AR of double LAMAR, then when we do this, it'll make sense to go, I'm called, me llamo. And I'll teach you when you do that, because that's a reflexive verb, that you put the me from me gusta, that me goes in front of the llamo when you say myself, I'm called, me llamo. And I'll explain that to you nice and clearly, that you'll understand it 100%. But that's why I don't start my course with I'm called, me llamo. I start with my name is, mi nombre es. Because you haven't learned your infinitive to call. There's always a right place to do something. Remember, when you teach somebody and you help someone, you don't always give to that person what they think they want. You do things that are better for that person because you want to maximize their life's experience. You want to give them a better quality of their life's experience, and that is because you love to help and disseminate them with information that can improve their experiences that they are going to have. Because inadvertently, that will improve your own personal life and your purpose for being here. A lot of people say to me that your profession is what occupies you, but your purpose is what actualizes you. Like, what are you really supposed to be doing in life? You know, so many people are doing things that they don't enjoy on a daily basis. So it's so imperative also to find your purpose in life, you know, whatever you're going to do. But we can talk about that later on in the course and how to do that. But I'm just so excited that you're starting to learn this methodology with a verb. And we've just done the verb to call, yamar. And I explained to you what to do. You throw it back and forth. Tell me, do you like to call here? Yes, naturally, I like to call here. Why do you like to call here? And you answer, I like to call here because, and then you use your methodology. For me, it's important to call here. I like to call here because, in my opinion, it's necessary to call here. I like to call here because I believe that it's cheap to call here. And you must write yamar there with your other verbs. Yamar. Don't worry about I'm called, you called, he's called. No, gracias. No, por favor. No seas loco. Chulo. Mira, vamos a continuar. And remember again, the reason why I'm explaining in English, so you understand the methodology, how to study. Remember in my story, I told you that when a Spanish teacher doesn't even speak a word of English in class 1, you don't understand what she's saying or how to study or what's going on. Let the teacher teach you in your home language in the beginning. When you become a prolific speaker, I can, or another teacher can explain to you in Spanish what's going on. But I feel that how I'm teaching is so clear, you can teach this to somebody that you know. It's a really good idea to teach this to somebody that you know. Socrates said the best way to learn is to teach. What's the next word? To travel, viajar. Now remember, in some countries, the V is a V, viajar, and in other countries, it's a soft B, viajar. When you speak quickly, you can't even distinguish between the two, so it's no problem. You just choose what you're comfortable with. Either viajar or viajar. What does it mean? To travel. One word in Spanish, 2 words in English. How are we going to learn the infinitive? Repetition, the mother of learning, the father of action, the architect of accomplishment. We substitute the verb estar to travel 4 times and we go for it. 1, 2, 3. Dime, te gusta mucho viajar aquí? Tell me, do you like a lot to travel here? Answer, yes, obviously I like a lot to travel here. Sí, obviamente me gusta mucho viajar aquí. Then the question, listen, why do you like a lot to travel here? Oye, ¿por qué te gusta mucho viajar aquí? Answer, you ready for the answer? Well, pues, I like a lot to travel here. Me gusta mucho viajar aquí. Because, ¿por qué? Let's go. Yo pienso que es fantástico viajar. Yo creo que es fabuloso viajar. Para mí es necesario viajar. En mi opinión, it's fun to travel. Es divertido viajar. Cool. Throw the verb viajar back and forth, back and forth. And you could have also said something that's more pertinent, like, for example, you could do this as your second answer, as I've taught you, but then you could also say, well, when you ask the question, why do you like a lot to travel? You could go, well, pues, I like a lot to travel. And remember, to travel to Cuba is viajar a Cuba. Make a note that a means to, but destination. So you should highlight the a is to, and here is to. Let's start again. Tell me, do you like, imagine I travel to Cuba once every 5 years. Tell me, do you like a lot to travel to Cuba? Dime, ¿te gusta mucho viajar a Cuba? Answer, sí, obviously I like to travel to Cuba. Sí, obviamente me gusta mucho viajar a Cuba. Listen, why do you like a lot to travel to Cuba? Oye, ¿por qué te gusta mucho viajar a Cuba? Use your tonality to evoke a question. Answer, well, pues, I like a lot to travel to Cuba. Me gusta mucho viajar a Cuba because, ¿por qué? You could go, for me, the music is fantastic. Para mí, la música es fantástica. I think that the people are friendly. Yo pienso que la gente es amigable. I believe that the city of Havana is incredible. Yo creo que la ciudad de, the city of, la ciudad de means of, Havana es increíble. Because that's pertinent to say, I like to travel to Cuba because I think that the people are friendly, in my opinion, the food is delicious, etc. For me, the city is beautiful. That's cool. Go for it. Then you can use your depth charges with nouns, just like I used with the verb estar in my first example. I like to be here because for me, the music is incredible. I think that the food is the wine. That's no problem. You can go because it's pertinent to do that. It's fine. But I also want you to know the answer of, I like to travel to Cuba, me gusta mucho viajar a Cuba, using the page you wrote down in your book. Me gusta mucho viajar a Cuba porque yo pienso que es fantástico viajar a Cuba. Me gusta mucho viajar a Cuba porque yo creo que es divertido viajar a Cuba. Me gusta mucho viajar a Cuba porque para mí es maravilloso viajar a Cuba. That's concept you must know. And then write viajar here at the top again. Because you could say, I think that it's fun to travel to Cuba, and you could continue. Because I believe that the people are friendly. In my opinion, the music is excellent. And then that's an amazing, marvelous collaboration of everything, which we are going to keep on showing you. We're going to keep on keeping on. And then you'll know your verb to travel is viajar. And I'll reiterate. I want to travel, I need to travel, I'm not able to travel, I'm going to travel, I have to travel. To travel will never change. If you say in your English mind, to travel, viajar, one word in Spanish, two words in English. And in the big picture, when you conjugate to travel, you throw away the AR from viajar, and you'll be left with your root V-I-A-J, and it'll be I travel. Viajó, you, viajas, he, she, viajar, we, viajamos, they, viajan. No problem. This will happen automatically. I tell you, unequivocally. Muy bien. We've just done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 verbs of the AR list. Perfecto. Now I know you're feeling tuned in, tapped in, and turned on. Let's continue. Now, the next set of verbs on page 1 are the words that end on ER. Now, anytime you see a word that ends in AR, ER, or IR is to something, as we've discussed. Now, let's start learning some doing words that end with ER. The sound is air. Every single time you say a word, see a word, or read a word that ends in ER, 99% of the time, it's two words in English. To eat is comer. To eat, two words in English, one word in Spanish. The to is inside the word, comer. Well, we know how to study it. We go back to our dialogue and we change estar and we substitute the verb estar to the verb comer, and they have written the meat, la carne, because you would have learned the meat, la carne, when you learned lecture 1. Remember, every day you try and learn 10 nouns, and you would have seen that the meat is a feminine noun, it's a girl word, and it's an exception, that's why it's in the blue bracket, and it's la carne. It's not la carna. And the way you learned it was by using the methodology I taught you how to repeat it. Remember when you went to your page in the beginning of the first lecture on page 3, you learned the meat by substituting the food to the meat all the way down. I like, me gusta la carne en Madrid. No me gusta la carne en Madrid. And you always say the Spanish equivalent, and then you say the English equivalent aloud. Then you combine the positive and the negative with but. I like the meat. Me gusta la carne en Madrid, pero no me gusta la carne en Barcelona. Then you describe the meat 15 times. La carne es fantástica aquí. La carne es fabulosa aquí, etc. La carne es increíble aquí. Don't forget sabrosa you wrote as well on number 12, but you know how to do it. And then you went there, I like the meat because me gusta la carne. You change the food in the life to the new noun. Me gusta la carne en Madrid. Porque para mí la carne es fantástica. And you change it to your 4 depth charges and your adjectives. And I even wrote the example out there for you. And that's why you know unequivocally that the meat is la carne, because you said it aloud over 30 ways. So now we can, what a wonderful collaboration to learn a verb, a doing word, with what we had learned previously, the noun. So now you can ask me a question. Do you like a lot to eat the meat? Dime, ¿te gusta mucho comer la carne? And then you answer, sí, obviamente me gusta mucho comer la carne. Then you ask why. Pues, ¿por qué te gusta mucho? Or listen, oye, or well, why do you like? Let's stick with oye. Listen, oye, why? ¿Por qué te gusta mucho comer la carne? And then you answer the question. Well, pues, I like a lot to eat the meat. Me gusta mucho comer la carne because, porque, for me, para mí. And now you could just say because the meat is fantastic. Porque la carne es fantástica. Or in my opinion, the meat is delicious. En mi opinión, la carne es deliciosa. That's exactly how you learned this. I like the meat because for me, I think that the meat is delicious. That's fine. But now you must learn this new concept. I like a lot to eat the meat, and you must write it always down. Me gusta mucho comer la carne because, porque, and then your page that you wrote in your jota, how to learn a verb. I think that it's fantastic to eat the meat. Yo pienso que es fantástico comer la carne. Yo creo que es fabuloso comer la carne. Para mí es barato comer la carne. O en mi opinión es excelente comer. And then write comer here with your next, with the other verbs that you download. Comer, to eat. And you throw it back and forth and back and forth. And as I'll repeat, to eat will never change if you say to eat in your structure of English. I want to eat, quiero comer. I'm not able to eat, no puedo comer. I'm going to eat, yo voy a comer. I hope to eat, yo espero comer. I prefer to eat, yo prefiero comer. Over 1,000. Remember, I'll teach all that other stuff to you. I want, I need, with the right time, with the right alignment, with a trajectory that is logical, and it's a cumulative experience. You know, things have to be in layers, in the correct layers. But I'm just showing you the importance now of what the verb is, to eat. It won't change. And in the future, when we do change it, you'll find that you will know the root of com, C-O-M. So C-O-M will go down for everybody before you go, I eat, because you'll throw the E-R away, just like we threw the A-R away with the A-R verbs. You'll have your com, and then you put your endings on. And I eat will be yo como, and you eat will be comes. And the filtration, if to eat is comer, listen to that sound, becomes hemos en. There's a filtration, like an osmotic effect. To eat, comer, becomes hemos en. You eat, comes, he and she eats, come, we eat, comemos, they eat, comen. That's important. Remember, the filtration effect of an AR verb, if to speak, is hablar. Hablar, that R will be you speak. Hablas, hablar, hablamos, hablan. The ER verb, to eat, comer, that filtration effect will be you eat. Comes, come, comemos, comen. So what happens is, and in the first person, it's an O for yo, and it's an O for yo. That is no change, but the rest will change accordingly. And if we spoke English like Spanish, in the future, it's going to sound like this. I speak o, you speak us, he and she speaks a, we speak amos, and they speak an. And if we spoke English like Spanish, it'll be like with to eat, it'll be I eat o, you eat es, he and she eats we eat emos, they eat en. So becomes emos en, and r becomes as amos an. And then when you become a really good intermediate speaker with me, we'll combine it. It's an amazing mechanism before you become a very, very high intermediate speaker in advance. You'll do things like this. You'll combine it, like you'll say, I eat and I speak. You're going to go, yo como y yo hablo. Let me do this for you properly. I just want to show you how exciting the journey is. When you speak better and you're going to combine these two verbs for lubrication, you're going to go, I eat and I speak. Yo como y yo hablo. You eat and you speak. It's going to be tu comes and tu hablas. He eats and he speaks. El comer and el hablar. We speak and we eat. Nosotros comemos and hablamos. And they eat and they speak. Comen and hablan. And if we spoke English like Spanish, I eat o and I speak o. You eat es and you speak as. He eats e and he speaks a. We eat hemos and we speak amos. They eat en and they speak an. You have no idea how exciting the upper sections are. Oh, you're going to be smiling so wide, you'll have a pancake for breakfast every morning sideways. To eat, comer. Now we need to do the next verb, which is to drink, beber. So you put beber in all the way down. Instead of the verb to be, you put beber. And I put there, the noun would be the wine, el vino, which you learned. So we go slowly. Tell me, do you like a lot to drink the wine? Dime, te gusta mucho beber el vino? And you answer, sí, any adverb. Absolutamente me gusta mucho beber el vino. You ask why? Pues, ¿por qué te gusta mucho beber el vino? Or you could go, oye, any of your utterances you want. Why? ¿Por qué te gusta mucho beber? Why do you like to drink the wine? And then you answer, I like a lot to drink the wine. Me gusta mucho beber el vino. And you give a reason. Porque para mí el vino es bueno. En mi opinión, el vino es fabuloso. Yo pienso que el vino es barato. Yo creo que el vino es sabroso. Flavorful, it's cool. But then you must do the method as I showed you today. I like to drink the wine. You must write this out, when you've got time. Me gusta beber el vino. How to learn a verb. Porque yo pienso que es fantástico beber el vino. I like to drink the wine. Me gusta beber el vino porque yo creo que es fabuloso beber el vino. I like to drink the wine. Me gusta beber el vino because for me, porque para mí, it's cheap. Es barato beber el vino. I like to drink the wine. Me gusta beber el vino because in my opinion, it's necessary. Es necesario beber el vino. So you're learning. Beber means to drink. One word in Spanish, two words in English. And it will never change if you say to drink. I need to drink, I can't drink, I'm going to drink, I prefer to drink, I have to drink. No change. It's just so, and you're learning the root of to drink. Beber, to drink. Beber. So in the big picture, when you conjugate to drink, you throw the ER away, and you drink will be bebes, he, beber, we drink, bebemos, and beben. That happens automatically. Beber. The next verb is to understand, comprender the people. So we go, let's go together, same thing. Tell me, do you like a lot to understand the people? Dime, ¿te gusta mucho comprender la gente? Answer, sí, obviamente me gusta mucho comprender la gente. Listen, why? Oye, ¿por qué? Why do you like to understand the people? ¿Por qué te gusta mucho comprender la gente? Answer, well, pues, I like a lot to understand the people. Me gusta mucho comprender la gente. And then your answer, which you wrote down. Because, porque yo pienso que es fantástico comprender la gente. Yo creo que es fabuloso comprender la gente. Para mí es excelente comprender la gente. Yo, en mi opinión, es necesario comprender la gente. At least 40 sentences there. 4 depth charges, 10 adjectives, 40 sentences to answer that question. So now you're learning comprender. Man, I want to understand. Yo quiero comprender. I can't understand. Yo no puedo comprender. I'm going to understand. Yo voy a comprender. I have to understand. Yo tengo que comprender. To understand will never change. When will it change? When we conjugate in the future. You throw the ER away from comprender, and I understand will be comprendo. And because it's comprender, that air sound will filtrate, you understand will be comprendes, comprender, comprendemos, comprenden. I understand, you understand, he understands, we understand, but that will happen automatically, and we will have saved ourselves years of laborious study. Because who's got 15 years to become a fluent speaker? I need to show you quickly so I can maximize the quality of your life soon. Life is short. Comprender. Next verb is to believe. Creer. Creer. Pronounce both E's. Creer. And you go from here and you substitute the verb estar to believe. Let's go. Tell me, do you like a lot to believe? Just have fun. Dime, te gusta mucho creer? Answer. Sí, obviamente, I like a lot to believe. Me gusta mucho creer. Listen, why do you like a lot to believe? Oye, ¿por qué te gusta mucho creer? Answer, well, I like a lot to believe. You could believe the Bible, la Biblia. Well, I like a lot to believe the Bible. Pues, me gusta mucho creer la Biblia. And then you answer, ¿por qué? Yo pienso que es fantástico creer la Biblia. Yo creo que es fabuloso creer la Biblia. Para mí es interesante creer la Biblia. En mi opinión, es importante creer la Biblia. And you're learning that to believe is creer. So when you go, I want to believe, I'm not able to believe. Like a very useful phrase is, in the big picture, I can't believe it. They go, yo no puedo creer. I can't believe. Yo no puedo creerlo. Lo will be it. But to believe will stay the same 1,000 times. Just learn that creer is to goddamn believe. Creer, to believe. And by the way, I've already conjugated the verb to believe. It's one of your depth charges. Remember, I believe, it's yo creo que, because you threw the ER away from creer, you put the O, and you already know now that I believe is yo creo, but I had to teach you I believe that because it is one of your depth charges. It was incumbent on me to do yo creo que. Write this down quickly. I believe because for me it's important to believe. Yo creo porque I believe because yo creo porque for me it's important to believe. Para mí es importante creer. C-R-E-E-R. Just write that down. Hey, I love that, man. You could even go, I believe because I like to believe. Write that down. I believe because I like to believe. Yo creo because, porque, I like to believe. Me gusta creer, your infinitive. You know, that mechanism I do a bit in the future. It's one of my favorite mechanisms to do, man. I tell you, like, you know, for example, today we started learning estar is to be, that location, and we learned I like to be here. Me gusta estar aquí. And then you said, I like to be here because for me it's important to be here. I like to be here because in my opinion it's times 40. It's fun to be here, you know. I like to be here. Me gusta estar aquí because for me it's fun to be here. Porque para mí es divertido estar aquí. Remember how I taught you I like to be here because, and then you go, I think that it's fun to be here. For me it's interesting to be here. And you put to be there times 40. So when in the future, when you just something to make it interesting always, when you throw the AR away from to be and you say, I am here, you know, it'll be estoy, it becomes oi, it's irradical. Most of the time you just have an O when you do an action like I believe, yo creo, or I think, yo pienso, or I speak, hablo, or I work, trabajo. This is irregular, estoy. But if you say, when you get to the higher layers and you say, I'm here, and you go, estoy aquí, how will you say I'm here because I like to be here? You'll say, estoy, I am, that's the action. Estoy aquí because I like to be here. Porque me gusta estar aquí. That's amazing collaboration. Or you say, I'm here. This is in the future. You say, I'm here. Estoy aquí because for me it's fun to be here. Porque para mí es divertido, it's fun, estar aquí. That's exciting. I'm here, estoy aquí, because I think that, porque yo pienso que it's fantastic to be here. Es fantástico estar aquí. I mean, that collaboration is dope, eh? Now, when you do the action, I am, in the future, and you go, you understand everything, and you go, okay, I am here is estoy aquí. You can collaborate with what you've learned. I'm here, estoy aquí, because, porque, para mí, es excelente estar aquí. I'm here because for me it's excellent to be here. And then you get to learn what an action is, I am, using the infinitive to be in one layer, in one sentence. That I do in the future. You'll be so happy, eh? Muy bien. So anyway, let's revert back to what we've done. We've done creer is to believe, that's amazing. And you went here, do you like to believe? Yes, I like to believe. Why do you like to believe? I like to believe because for me it's fantastic to believe, using this page over here. So you've done that. Now the next verb is vitally important. It's the verb ser. You need to actually rewrite this verb in your notebook. Ser, to be. Make a note in your book. So you made a note in your notebook, ser equals to be. So we're dealing with this verb ser now. Now write this, I'll dictate. This verb evokes a condition of permanency. It's not location like estar. It still means to be in the English mind, because there's two ways to say to be in Spanish. In English, there's only one way, but in Spanish, there's two ways. Ser is to be, but this evokes a state of permanency. So write this. It's not location, write it out. And then continue writing. It's who I am. And write this sentence. I like to be, and your name. Me gusta ser, and whatever your name is. You mustn't use estar. Estar must be in a compartment separately for location. I like to be here. This is another to be. It's who you are. So just write this out. I like to be, and your name. Me gusta ser, and your name. Now, if you're my psychologist or you're my motivational coach, and you said to me, do you like to be? And if my name was Pedro, look what you'd say. Dime, te gusta ser, Pedro? And I answer, sí, absolutamente me gusta ser, Pedro. Why? ¿Por qué te gusta ser, Pedro? And I'll answer, me gusta ser, Pedro, porque para mí es importante ser Pedro. Just imagine, have fun like we actors in the theater. I like to be Pedro because for me it's fun to be Pedro. But this is very important, that you're learning ser is to be of who you are. The reason is, when you learn that ser is to be, when you say, I like to be, and your name, when you go, I am, you're going to go, yo soy, and your name. And that's going to come from ser. And if you say, for example, your name is Pedro, and you go, I'm Pedro, yo soy Pedro, because for me it's important to be Pedro, porque para mí es importante ser Pedro. You're going to combine. That is so important. Just like when you do the temporary one of I'm in Mexico, estoy, which is I am for location in the future, estoy in Mexico, because for me it's important to be here, porque para mí es importante estar in Mexico. That's going to happen in the future, but we need to know where things come from for now. So learn that ser is to be, but it's who I am. Because in the big picture, when you go I am and you introduce yourself, it's going to be soy. It's not going to be the other I am of estoy. It won't be this one. This one is for where you are location. Because if you say, I like to be here for location, temporary, me gusta estar aquí, when you say estoy, that's going to be I am in Peru, I am on the beach, I am in my house. That's location. You see, that will come from that. So we're learning this first. And we're doing the same thing with ser. It's to be who you are. So when you go, I am in your name, you know that that's going to come from there. So right there, it's who I am. Then write this out. It's where I'm from. And then write out a sentence. I like to be from South Africa. Me gusta ser de, D-E means from, Suid-Afrika, S-U-D-A-F-R-I-C-A. And write it out in Spanish and English. I like to be from South Africa. So when you do the dialogue, you say, do you like to be from South Africa? ¿Te gusta ser de Sudáfrica? I'll answer, sí, naturalmente me gusta ser de Sudáfrica. Why? ¿Por qué te gusta ser de Sudáfrica? Why do you like to be from South Africa? And then you answer, I like to be from South Africa. Me gusta ser de Sudáfrica because for me it's important to be from South Africa. Porque para mí es importante ser de Sudáfrica. Or me gusta ser de Sudáfrica, and you've got 40. Porque para mí es necesario ser de Sudáfrica. Yo creo que es importante ser de Sudáfrica. And don't worry if you say, I'm not going to say that in life. I like to be from South Africa because for me it's important to be from South Africa. I want you to know how to say it. You must know how to say that. You see, that's why when you say, I like to be from South Africa, you're proud. Me gusta ser de, and your country, wherever you come from. If you say, I like to be from Spain, me gusta ser de España, from Mexico, de Mexico, from Argentina, de Argentina, doesn't matter. But when you say, I am from South Africa, then you're going to use soy. It'll be, yo soy de Sudáfrica. That's I'm from South Africa. And who you are, yo soy Pedro. You see, that comes from ser. And what a lovely collaboration. It fits in marvelously when you go, I am from South Africa, yo soy de Sudáfrica, and for me it's important to be from South Africa. Para mí es importante ser de Sudáfrica. So I'm teaching you this first before I teach you all this, because when I teach you all this, it's going to be clear and you'll understand it. You're going to comprehend it. You're going to process the information I'm giving to you. We're not doing this first. We're learning SER, but I'm explaining why I'm teaching you this first. Then write number 3. So number 1, it was who you are. Number 2, and you wrote an example, I like to be on your name. It's where you're from, and you write, me gusta ser de, a place. Number 3, it's your inherent character. It's your character. It's the way you are inherently. And then the 2 examples I gave you in your book was responsible and intelligent. And I even gave you the examples there. So you must know how to say to me, do you like to be responsible? Te gusta mucho ser responsable or clever? Te gusta mucho ser inteligente? And add one on there, friendly, amigable. Do you like to be friendly? Te gusta mucho ser amigable? Now in my manual, when I do that lesson of SER on page 30, I've got over 50 characters for you. But for today, learn 3. That's okay. So would you like to be friendly? Dime, te gusta mucho ser amigable? Answer. Sí, naturalmente me gusta ser amigable. Why? Porque te gusta ser amigable? And then answer, I like to be friendly. Me gusta ser amigable because, porque I think that it's important to be friendly. Yo pienso que es importante ser amigable. And write ser there, as with the other verbs. I like to be friendly. Me gusta ser amigable because, porque, for me, para mí, it's important to be friendly. Es importante ser amigable. And you can use any adjective that you want. It's so important, this. And that's why when you say I'm friendly, you're going to go soy. It will be that I am. And that will also be you, he, she, we, which I'm going to teach you in the future. Now, write out there. So number 1, it was who you are. I like to be on your name. Number 2, it was where you're from. I like to be from South Africa. Number 3 was your character. I like to be intelligent. Me gusta ser inteligente. Responsible, responsable, or friendly, amigable. And number 4, just right there, it's my profession. And then just say, I like to be a student. Me gusta ser, to be, estudiante, or alumno. They both mean student. Estudiante, E-S-T-U-D-I-A-N-T-E, or student is alumno for a boy, or alumna for a girl. Estudiante ends on E, so that stays the same for both sexes. When I do this lesson in its entirety, you'll have many professions. But let's use student for now, because that really is a profession, being a student. We're always a student. You know, in life, we never stop learning. Then you just play the game. Tell me, do you like to be a student? Dime, ¿te gusta ser estudiante? Yes, sí, naturalmente me gusta ser estudiante. Why do you like to be a student? ¿Por qué te gusta ser estudiante? And then you answer, I like to be a student. Me gusta ser estudiante. And then you use your page how to learn a verb. Porque yo pienso que es importante ser estudiante. I like to be a student because for me it's important to be a student. No problem. When your right brain takes over totally, your the right side of the brain is where you work in the abstract and you think out the box, you know. So remember, the more foundationally stable your left side of the brain is, that liberates the right side, which is your creative side. So then when you become creative, and a lot of you are creative already with doing what you can do things like this. I like to be a student. Me gusta ser estudiante, because for me it's important to speak. Porque para mí es importante hablar, or to understand, comprender. And before you know it, we'll be using 2 verbs together in one sentence, I promise you. I mean, another example, you could say, for example, I like to speak Spanish. Me gusta hablar español, because for me it's important to speak Spanish. Porque para mí es importante hablar español, the repeat of hablar. But then you could change your second verb. You could go, I like to speak Spanish a lot. Me gusta mucho hablar español, because for me it's important to understand the people. Porque para mí es importante comprender la gente. You can use your verb to understand. Or for me it's important, I like to speak Spanish. Me gusta hablar español, because for me it's important to travel. Porque para mí es importante viajar. You can start using 2 verbs very shortly at once. Ser is so important, eh? a lot of people have been studying Spanish for many years and they've never come to grips between the difference between permanent, I am, and temporary, I am. So we are learning that ser, this one, is the permanent one, and this one is the location one. So if you say, I like to be and your name, me gusta ser and your name, but I like to be here will be estar, me gusta estar aquí. And then with continuing study, you're going to combine both these charts together. You're going to go, I am and your name, yo soy and your name, and then you're going to go, I'm in Madrid, yo estoy en Madrid, because there's two ways to say, I am, you are, he is, we are, they are. And I'll get you to do this. I tell you unequivocally, everybody gets it. And your willingness to make mistakes is the precursor for you to have everything that you want in your life. It's no problem to make mistakes. I'm telling you, this combination, I have to show you again, it means so much, is vitally important. We are going to combine these two. You won't believe it because we're learning where they come from. So when you say, for example, I'm from South Africa, you're going to go, yo soy de Sudafrica. And when you're going to go, I'm happy, you're going to go, estoy feliz, because you're learning from now how the root development works. You don't have to do the conjugations now. I don't encourage you to. Just learn what I'm showing you now, how to learn those infinitives. It's so important, man. And I tell you, that rhythm we did in lecture 1, remember, the girl noun is feminine and the boy noun is masculine. Remember, the music is la música es fantástica, and the work is fantastic. El trabajo es fantástico. Remember those two rhythms that we learned in the beginning. I'll just reiterate, you must think of the rhythm as nutrients that lubricate and enable your neurological pathways to have the capacity for the flow of information to go nice and easy, man. And I need to adjust your mental posture in an upright position, always. So the reason why you're going to be doing what I've showed you here and what I've showed you on these two charts over there is because when you are going to be doing the action of how things work, you're going to be able to do the conjugations of the two to be's with no problem whatsoever, because you're going to be working on where they come from. Remember, I like to be from South Africa. Me gusta ser de Sudafrica. So I am is yo soy de Sudafrica. And those rhythms that you developed in lecture 1 with feminine, la música es fantástica, and el vino es fantástico. You know, that's to be for location. Estar, I like to be, and me gusta estar aquí. So the filtration, you are, will be estás. So that estás means you are. That's when you go, how are you? ¿Cómo estás? And it also means are you. So you are and are you, which I'll talk about in the future, is going to be the same in Spanish. But when you're speaking to a boy and you say to the guy, are you ready? Like, are you ready? You're going to go, estás listo. It's going to be an O for the guy, because the rhythm you learned in lecture 1 was the one is a boy. El vino es fantástico. That's why you say to the guy, are you ready? Estás listo. Or are you tired? Estás cansado. But the girl, when you say, are you ready? It's going to be estás. That doesn't change for a boy or a girl, by the way. But to a boy, it's, are you ready? Estás listo, which you're describing his state. But to a girl, it's going to be estás lista. That's why I did lecture 1. The food is a girl. La comida es fantástica. So to a girl, are you ready? It'll be estás lista. But the boy is the one. El vino es fantástico. So when you speak to a man and you say, are you ready? It's estás listo. To a girl, are you busy? Estás ocupada. But to a boy, are you busy? Estás ocupado. That filtration from lecture 1 will come into fruition when you start doing actions, you know. Then you'll get an epiphany. That's why when that guy said to me, are you busy? He said, estás ocupado. But when that guy said to the girl, are you busy? It was estás ocupada. He said, I got it. I understand. I'm a guy just like the wine with an O, and she's a girl just like the music with an A. I just had to show you that information. Listen, if I ever, because sometimes I get an idea and I just have to go, because I lecture extemporaneously mostly, you know. So sometimes I just, something comes into my head and I have to just give it to you. But if I'm doing anything and it's just like, oh, he's gone off somewhere else, I apologize emphatically if it's a bit too much. Just put that into another section of your book and just keep on going with what I'm teaching. because I might veer off somewhere, and for some of you it'll be okay, but for some of you will say, oh no, but that's just a bit too much. So then just discard what I've said about that and go back to the undertaking that I've done. Bueno, muchas gracias. Vamos a continuar. Let's continue. Okay, so we talked about ser, big lesson, eh? Yeah. Okay, now we're nearly finished. The IR verbs, that's the last section of the verb list. Any word that ends in IR, it's also to something. Ir. So we've discussed the AR verbs, are and er. Now let's do ir. So the first verb I've done with ir is to live. Vivir. Vivir. So let's go to the top. Tell me, do you like a lot to live in the house? Dime, te gusta mucho vivir. And you must change estar 4 times to vivir. Let's go do it together. 1, 2, 3. Tell me, do you like a lot to live in the house? Dime, te gusta mucho vivir en la casa? And if you make the V sound, vivir, it's no problem. Do whatever you prefer. Yes, obviously I like to live in the house. Sí, obviamente, me gusta mucho vivir en la casa. Then you go to the third one. Listen, why would you like to live here? Oye, ¿por qué te gusta mucho vivir in the house, en la casa, or in the city, en la ciudad, or here, aquí? Up to you. Answer, well, I like a lot to live here. Pues, me gusta mucho vivir aquí. Then, because, porque, how to learn a verb. I think it's fantastic to live here. I think that. Yo pienso que es fantástico vivir aquí. I like to live here. Me gusta mucho vivir aquí because I believe that. Porque yo creo que es fabuloso vivir aquí. I like to live here. Me gusta mucho vivir aquí because for me, porque para mí, it's fun to live here. Es divertido vivir aquí. You can choose any adjective you want. I like to live here. Me gusta mucho vivir aquí. I like a lot to live here because in my opinion, porque en mi opinión, it's safe to live here. Es seguro vivir aquí. Amazing. Times 40. Seguro might be a new adjective for you. You can write it on your list where you've got your own list there. S-E-G-U-R-A is danger, is safe. Seguro. And then learn the antonym. Dangerous is peligroso. P-E-L-I-G-R-O-S-O. You can add those 2 on your adjective list. Peligroso. It's no problem. And you threw the verb to live back and forth. Back and forth. And by the way, you could have used your normal nouns. I like a lot to live here, like when we did here. I like a lot to be here because I think the music, in my opinion, the wine, that would have been pertinent. I like a lot to live here. Me gusta mucho vivir aquí because, porque, you could say, up to you. I think that yo pienso que the nightlife is fun. La vida nocturna es divertida. For me, the people are friendly. Para mí, la gente es amigable. I believe that the work is interesting. Yo creo que el trabajo es interesante. Just use your depth charges and any nouns that you want, that you've learned from lecture 1. Or you can use this method, which I really want you to know. I like to live here. Me gusta mucho vivir aquí porque yo pienso que es interesante vivir aquí. And then you've got a minimum of 40. And don't forget to write vivir up there. Vivir, to live. Learn your infinitive. Why? Because it won't change. I want to live. Quiero vivir. I'm going to live. Voy a vivir. I need to live. I have to live. It will never change. To live, to live, to live. But when you conjugate in the future, you will know your root vivir is to live. So you'll know the VIV, and the VIV will go down for everybody. The VIV will go down for everybody. And when you throw the IR away, you'll put the endings of I live, vivo, you live, vives, he lives, vive, vivimos, and they live, viven. This will happen automatically, and we will save you years and years and years of laborious academic textbook studying that leads to your capitulation and demise. Remember, you need to know how to talk well in a very small time frame compared to the other options out there. Because when you start talking, you get to know people. And when you get to know people, your conversation is your advertisement to let people into your mind. You can become likable. You can develop a rapport. They will open up to you like flowers to the sun. You will become warm and generous to people, and they will do the same to you. That rapport, you develop the likability factor, because when people like you, they want to help you, and we need people to help us to go where we want to go. And we develop trust, and that's what makes life sweet. The last verb on this page is ir. It's only 2 letters. 2 letters. This is the most irradical verb that there is. It's 2 letters. It's ir. Ir means to go. So what I did is, I wrote the verb ir for you. Where is it? Have you got? There it is, ir. And I also made a sentence, to the beach. Now, to is here as well, to travel to Cuba, viajar a Cuba. So this is to go to the beach, ir a la playa. You must understand that that are there, and that are there means to, and then a place, you know. It's got nothing to do with the to inside the verb, like to speak or to eat. It's for destination. So you take ir, to go, where is it? And you put ir in there once, twice, 3, and 4 times. You ready? So you substitute like we've always done, estar to ir. Let's go together slowly. Tell me, do you like a lot to go to the beach? Dime, ¿te gusta mucho ir a la playa? Answer, sí. Personalmente, me gusta mucho ir a la playa. Listen, why do you like a lot to go to the beach? Oye, ¿por qué te gusta mucho ir a la playa? Answer, well, pues, I like a lot to go to the beach. Me gusta mucho ir a la playa because, porque, then you go back to your notes, how to learn a verb. I think that it's fun to go to the beach. Yo pienso que es divertido. You find fun. Ir, and write ir over there with the other verbs. A la playa. I like to go to the beach. Me gusta mucho ir a la playa because for me, it's fabulous to go to the beach. Para mí es fabuloso ir a la playa. I like to go to the beach. Me gusta ir a la playa, or I like a lot. Me gusta mucho ir a la playa because I believe that. Porque yo creo que it's incredible to go to the beach. Es increíble ir a la playa. 40 sentences. And the muy is up to you, the very. You don't have to do the no for now. You throw ir back and forth, man. Same thing. It won't change in the big picture if you say to go. I want to go. I need to go. I hope to go. I'm going to go. I have to go. Ir, 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 ir. You learn ir back and forth. And then before you know it, which some of you are already doing, you can combine 2 verbs. For me, it's important. Oh, by the way, when you say, I like to go to the beach, me gusta ir a la playa, you could also use any place, eh? Like, I like to go to the city, me gusta ir a la ciudad. Or I like to go to Mexico, me gusta ir a Mexico. Or I like a lot to go to Peru, me gusta mucho ir a Peru. So you can always change your destination. Then why do you like to go to Peru? Porque te gusta mucho ir a Peru? Then you could say, I like to go to Peru because I think it's fun to go to Peru, how to learn a verb. Or you could just talk about nouns. I like a lot to go to Peru if you go there once in a while. Me gusta mucho ir a Peru porque I think that the people are amazing. Yo pienso que la gente es estupenda. In my opinion, the music is incredible. En mi opinión, la música es increíble. I believe that the work is good. Yo creo que el trabajo es bueno. You see, you can either do that with your nouns, or what I've taught you how to do, how to learn a verb with this concept of repeating the I like to do something with your 4 depth charges, a minimum of 10 adjectives plus your verb. This page is muy importante. And then when we do the dialogue, we start at the top, what we did in lecture 1. Hello, good morning. How are you? Remember, you can go, tell me, how are you? Listen, how are you? So, how are you? Remember your utterances. Then you answer fine and you. You ask the person their name. We respond. We say, delighted to meet you, the 3 options. Then we do this dialogue, changing the noun to any noun that you've learned, learning all this information. And then we take this information to the bottom and we repeat this information and we change the noun to the verb that we're using, as I've showed you with today's lesson. And that answer that I've showed you how to learn a verb, remember? And then we just say goodbye, adios. And I only taught you adios last time, but you can practice the other ones now at the bottom of page 1. Until later, hasta luego. See you, te veo. Don't overanalyze. I'll teach you how everything works in due time. See you, te veo. Take care, cuídate. We'll see each other. Nos vemos. That you have a good day. Que tengas un buen día. Que tengas un buen día. And then you can just end off. Don't overanalyze these things like the te veo and the nos vemos. I'll explain to you how everything works in due time. No hay problema. There's no problem. I have enjoyed this interaction immensely. This is the perfect time for a segment of refreshment. I want you to have the rest of your day saturated with positivity. Remember to also write out in your book every day 5 things that you are appreciative for. It's very important. Write down 5 things in your life that you are appreciative for. Only focus on what you want to happen. Don't focus on what you don't want to happen. Remember, you are a vibrational person. Your vibration gets emanated. Whatever you are emanating is coming back to you. Write down 5 things that you are appreciative for when you wake up in the morning. And I guarantee you, you'll have more things to be appreciative of if you just emanate that feeling. Adios.